Welcome to our exploration into the fascinating world of genetics and DNA. Get ready to unravel the code that shapes who we are. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. Have you ever wondered why you have your father's eyes or your mother's smile? Well, that's the magic of genetics at play. Genetics is a fascinating field of science that studies heredity and the variation of inherited characteristics. It's a bit like a secret code or a blueprint that determines everything about us. Now, imagine for a moment that you are building a house. You wouldn't start without a blueprint, right? This blueprint is detailed, with instructions for where every window goes, how high the roof should be, and so on. In the same way, our bodies also have a blueprint that instructs how we should be built and function. This blueprint is in our genes. Our genes are tiny units of heredity that decide our traits, from the color of our hair and eyes to our height and even some of our behaviors. They are like the architects and builders of our bodies. But what are these genes made of? They are made up of a chemical substance called DNA, which stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is an amazing molecule with a double helix structure, sort of like a twisted ladder. Each rung of this ladder is made up of a pair of chemical building blocks or bases. There are 4 types of bases in DNA: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. The sequence of these bases is what codes for all the information in our genes. Now, while it might seem like we are just the product of our genes, that's not the whole story. Our environment, lifestyle, and experiences can also influence how our genes function. But I'll explain that more later in the video. Overall, our genes, made up of DNA, are like a blueprint that guides the development and functioning of our bodies. They decide our traits, from the color of our eyes to our potential health risks. In essence, DNA is the language of life, spelling out everything from the color of our eyes to our potential health risks. So what exactly is DNA and how does it work? Well, DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is like the blueprint of life, a set of instructions for building every part of an organism. Imagine it as an intricate, twisted ladder known as a double helix. But what makes it truly fascinating is the rungs of this ladder, a combination of just 4 components, or bases: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Now let's think about these 4 bases as a 4-letter alphabet. Just like how the 26 letters of the English alphabet can form countless words and sentences, these 4 letters of the DNA alphabet combine in various sequences to form the words and sentences of our genetic code. Here's an interesting fact: adenine always pairs with thymine and cytosine with guanine. This is a bit like certain letters in our alphabet often coming together to form common words. Think of A and T as a pair, like Q and U in English. They're almost always seen together. Similarly, C and G are another inseparable pair. These pairs, or base pairs, form the rungs of our DNA ladder, and the specific order of these pairs is what spells out the unique genetic code for each individual. This genetic code is essentially the instruction manual for building and maintaining an organism. It's like a complex recipe, telling our cells exactly what ingredients they need and how to put them together to create the different parts of our body. So, in essence, your DNA is a unique combination of these 4 bases, arranged in a specific sequence, a bit like a very complex sentence made up of a 4-letter alphabet. This unique sequence is what makes you, well, uniquely you. From the color of your eyes to your predisposition to certain health conditions. Think about DNA as a cookbook with thousands of recipes, each one a unique instruction for creating a different part of you. But how do these recipes turn into actual physical traits? Let's think of our genes like a sophisticated factory assembly line. In this factory, our genes are the foremen, the ones holding the master blueprints. They contain the instructions for building every part of us, from the color of our eyes to the shape of our nose. The first step in this assembly line is called transcription. This is where our genes, the master blueprints, are read and copied into a form that can be used by the rest of the factory. This copy is a molecule called RNA, and it's like a portable version of the original instructions. Once our RNA copy is ready, it's time for the second step, translation. This is where the real building begins. The RNA is read by a machine called a ribosome, which can be thought of as the factory's main builder. As the ribosome reads the RNA, It assembles a chain of building blocks called amino acids, following the instructions on the RNA. These chains of amino acids fold into complex shapes to form proteins. And here's the key. These proteins are the building materials and the workers that construct and maintain our bodies. They're responsible for everything from the color of our eyes to the beating of our hearts to the firing of our neurons. But what about when things go wrong? Well, and sometimes the instructions in our genes can have errors, like a misprint in the blueprint. These errors, or mutations, can cause the factory to build the wrong protein or to build it in the wrong way. This can lead to a range of health problems, from minor quirks to serious diseases. Yet despite these occasional hiccups, the process of protein synthesis is a testament to the incredible power and precision of our genes. Day in and day out, they guide the assembly of trillions of cells, each with a specific role in making us who we are. So our genes are like the ultimate construction team, building us from the ground up. Are our genes the only factor that determines who we are? Well, let's delve into that question. Picture our genetic code as a grand piano, with each gene representing a different key on the piano. This is where the concept of epigenetics comes in. The term epigenetics might sound complicated, but let's break it down. EPI in Greek means above or over, therefore epigenetics refers to changes above or over the genetic level. But what does that mean exactly? Let's return to our piano analogy. Just like how playing different keys on a piano can create a variety of melodies, our environment can play our genes in different ways, influencing how they express themselves. This playing of the genes is what we call epigenetic changes. These changes do not alter the DNA sequence itself, rather they influence how the genes are read or expressed. Now let's delve a little deeper. What kind of environmental factors can play our genes? Well, it could be a multitude of things, from our diet and exercise habits to the amount of stress we experience, or even the air quality of the place we live in. Even our behaviors and experiences can leave epigenetic marks on our DNA, which can sometimes be passed down to future generations. So imagine a pianist sitting at our genetic piano. The sheet music in front of them represents our DNA, the blueprint of our life. But the way the pianist interprets and plays the music, adding their own unique style and rhythm, that's the role of the environment in our genetic expression. In essence, our genes provide the potential, but it's our environment that helps shape the reality. The interplay between our genes and our environment is a beautiful, intricate dance that contributes to the complexity of life. So while our DNA lays down the sheet music, our environment is the pianist, adding its own unique interpretation. What does our understanding of genetics mean for the future? As we delve deeper into the complex world of genetics, we start to uncover the vast potential applications of this knowledge. One of the most promising areas is personalized medicine. Imagine a world where your doctor doesn't just know your medical history, but also your genetic predispositions. They could tailor treatments to your unique genetic makeup, enhancing the effectiveness of therapies and reducing potential side effects. It's like having a custom-made medical plan, designed specifically for you. Then there's gene therapy, a revolutionary approach to tackling genetic disorders. By inserting, modifying, or deleting genes, we may be able to correct faulty DNA and cure diseases at their source. Just think about it. Conditions that were once deemed incurable could become a thing of the past. And let's not forget about genetic engineering. This technology could allow us to enhance crops, endow them with resistance to pests or harsh climates, and even increase their nutritional value. It's not just about creating a tastier apple. It's about feeding the world in a more sustainable way. But with great power comes great responsibility. As we unlock the secrets of our DNA, we must also grapple with ethical considerations. How do we ensure that genetic modifications are safe and fair? Who gets to decide which traits are desirable and which are not? And what about the potential for misuse? These are complex questions, and there are no easy answers. But one thing is certain. Our understanding of genetics is transforming the way we approach health, agriculture, and even the essence of life itself. It's an exciting journey, filled with both promise and challenges. As we continue to decode the language of life, the possibilities are as vast as the human genome itself. So, let's keep exploring, learning, and innovating. After all, the future of genetics is not just about understanding our biology, it's about shaping our destiny.